On today's episode of the Locked On Texans podcast, Brandon K. Scott of Sports Radio 610 joins the show to talk about the state of the Houston Texans, and we got to dive into the Azeez suspension being upheld.
You are Locked On Texans, your daily podcast on the Houston Texans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Battle Red Nation, welcome to the Locked On Texans podcast. I'm credentialed media member and Texans football analyst John, some sports guy Hickman, alongside credentialed media member and the man with the big hat and the even bigger smile, though I don't know how long he's going to be smiling today, Brian Big Sars Bearfield.
Right.
We are also joined by Brandon K. Scott. I thank you guys for making us your first listen of the day, for being in every day of the show, your team every day. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to dive into the YouTube comments with Brandon K. Scott. We're going to talk about the state of the Houston Texans right now, kind of what needs to happen for the Texans to close out the year, but they'll be doing so without Azeez Al-Shaair, the starting middle linebacker who has been suspended by the NFL. He went to the appeal process, but the NFL has upheld the 3-game suspension. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. K. Scott, it's been a while.
Has been.
And I hate the fact that the first time we talk to you again after a very long time will be about the suspension of a very important player for this team, not only just on the defensive side of the ball, but he's a mouthpiece in their locker room. He embodies everything that the Houston Texans head coach, DeMeco Ryan, stands for. Azeez Al-Shaair will be suspended for the next 3 games after Houston comes off of their bye week. Miami, Kansas City, Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens at home. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so this now that the suspension has been upheld on appeal, I think this is where it really needs to start hitting home for Texans fans. Because as y'all know, y'all are part of the community, deal with the community. There has been a lot of emotion and a lot of commentary about this hit, whether it should be illegal, whether they should change the rules about sliding, whether it was a dirty hit, the character assassination of Azeez Al-Shaair, the Texans feeling like they needed to come out and defend his character. Others, just wanting to be critical of the play itself and everything in between there. But now what we call in journalism the next day story. The next day story is, okay, what does it mean for the team, especially if the suspension is upheld as it is? And here's what I thought right before we got on this and recorded, John, when you mentioned that it was upheld. We kind of learned this together right before the show. And when you said that, the first thing I thought about, man, was, damn, Aziz and Jalen Petrie in back-to-back weeks. Like, and I know we're still trying to figure out exactly with Petrie's pec injury what that's going to mean for him and if he's going to be able to come back, if and when. But at the very least, the next couple of weeks, they're going to be without 2 of their, I think, better players overall on the field and 2 of their more vocal and more important leaders on the team, not just on the defense, but on the team overall. And they can still provide that leadership behind the scenes, but it's different when you're not on the field. So I think it's a massive hit. And this was the thing that frustrated me about this. And we probably looked at the hit a little differently. But the thing that frustrated me about it the most from a Texan standpoint was just that I did not feel like it had to happen. Like I didn't feel like it was make or break. Hey, Aziz, you got to make that play to save the season. Man, the world is on the line. Like it was just like, you know what? He's probably gonna get that first down, whether you clean his clock or let him make it. Either way, at that point, go ahead and let up. And I just didn't feel like it needed to be. And so and that's aside from Trevor Lawrence's health and all of this other stuff that y'all know has been debated since Sunday. But just from a purely Texan standpoint, I'm like, man, penalty, ejection, and then now this suspension, which I do think is excessive. Let me be clear about that. I don't agree with the 3-game suspension but I'm also not in a position to, like, they didn't ask me. So, like, I'm not in a position to change it either. So, like, I'm just, like, looking at all of it in its totality, John, Sarge, I'm just like, man, did this really have to happen like this, though? So it's a lot of frustration.
Sarge, before you take it over, I want to say that's exactly what me and Sarge talked about on our Tuesday episode and a little bit on Monday. How can the Houston Texans rebound? And I said, man, I feel like this is going to be the straw that finally breaks the camel's back. This Texans defense has been able to recover over and over again. They've been without Christian Harris all year. They've gotten the best version of Henry T we've seen since he's entered the league. Nova Hewitt has played some good snaps for the Houston Texans. Eric Murray had a couple of good games where in his role he was good, right? But now it feels like with the 3 games, I don't know how they're going to rebound. Sarge, take it away.
Man, look, I get it. Hey, B. Scott, I'm happy to see you.
Hey,
again.
listen, Sarge ain't going to be too happy about this one.
Hey, B. Scott, man, it's good to see you again, man. It's always great to see you. John, hello, man. How you doing today, brother? It's always good to see you again. Man, this is a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why it's a bunch of crap. Hold on for a second. Sarge is about to be the, hey, get off my lawn guy. What football has become is entertainment. That's why they sell it to Amazon Prime. That's why they sell it to Netflix. That's why you got Thursday night games. That's why you're going to have Saturday night games. They don't care about the game of football anymore. They just want to sell entertainment. So how do you sell entertainment? Oh, we have to protect our prized possessions, and that is the quarterbacks. Are they not football players as well? Are they not on the field? If you don't want your quarterback hit, if you don't want your quarterback touch, then put flags on the side of them. And when they get close, let the defender grab the flag. Listen, no one wants to see what happened to Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see a man laying on the field concussed. Nobody. But you've been playing this game long enough at this level to know. Listen, I'm different when it comes to the hit, B. Scott. I'm different. Aziz shouldn't have to adjust himself from playing football because the other player is not. We've seen too many times on how the slide is, and I get it. I grew up in the 70s. I watched football when it was Deacon Jones on, right? I remember when Steve Atwater and Christian Okoye met each other in the hole. I remember these hits. I seen Lawrence Taylor. So yes, I may be jaded just a little bit, but by the same token, when you look at Aziz is a fast, aggressive player. You want him to monkey roll over Trevor Lawrence, not you, B. Scott. I'm just saying some of these comments I'm reading. Hey, dive over the top of him. Why? Why should he have to dive over the top of him? Why does he have to make the adjustment when they're both playing football? Now I get it. They're trying to take everything, the physical nature out of the game as far as the big hits are concerned because they got hit with the CTE lawsuits and they still lowballed everybody when it came to that. But now we're looking at let's protect the quarterbacks. Let's protect the quarterbacks. And now you got quarterbacks who are circumventing the rules. And when they get to circumventing the rules, how do you think it makes the player, the defensive player feel who's been taught all his life? Hey, that's the person I need to stop. And then, so what message is the NFL sending now? Hey, listen, I got it. You can't make those big hits on the quarterback. So can I hit Derrick Henry like that? Can I hit Saquon Barkley like that? Can I hit Justin Jefferson like that? Can I hit Jamar Chase like that? Because from an entertainment value, they are just as special as the quarterbacks. Those players I just named are in the top 5 of their position. So who are you protecting? If you're going to just protect the quarterback, then you might as well make it two-hand touch when it comes to them. No, listen. One game I can understand. Like one game I'd have been like, oh, Aziz, they gave you one. 2 games I'd have been like, yeah, I get it. But 3 games coming from and I'm going to say it, and John, I apologize, but I'm going to say it up front. Coming from the hypocrisy, which is the league office of former players who look at this and say, oh, this will not be tolerated, young man. You're going to blah, 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 blah. Ramon Foster, Runyon, Troy Vincent, they're all hypocrites.
I think what I want to look at, is okay. We now know what the suspension is going to be upheld. The feelings are involved, the emotions are involved from every side. Texans as a franchise, Texans as a fan base, and then
Big star.
everybody else. But as a franchise and the fan base, right? I think we can include ourselves in that, but everybody else, and now to your point, okay, how do you pivot? Like, what's next? And so I think that's a perfect way for us to kind of move on and talk about what's next for the Houston Texans, not only for replacing Azeez, Brandon K. Scott, in your opinion, but just the overall outlook of this team right now as they are on their bye week and they need to prepare to close out on a very tough stretch of their season. Hey, Texan fans, history, economics, the great works of literature, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution. Did you study any of these things in school? You may have, or you may not remember it. Maybe it's time for a refresher. Time and technology has changed a lot of things, but they have not changed basic fundamental truths about the world and our place in it. Our response is Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free, that's right, free online courses that include the Constitution 101, the meaning and history of the Constitution, the Great American Story, A Land of Hope, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, and one course that I'm actually on right now, a brand new documentary style course on Marxism, Socialism, and Communism. All of Hillsdale courses are self-paced, so you can start wherever and tune in whenever. Plus, you can go deeper with readings, quizzes, discussions, and you can just sit back and enjoy the lectures. Go to hillsdale.edu/locked-on to enroll. The best part about it, there's no cost. It's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/locked-on to register. That's hillsdale.edu/locked-on to register. And also, NFL fans, do you want to make every play matter this season? If you haven't got in with FanDuel and the amazing offers that they've been offering since the offseason, now is the time. Check out FanDuel, America's number one sportsbook. They'll have you covered with all of the action you need right at your fingertips, whether you're backing the Houston Texans to pull off a big win or it's the bye week for the Texans. So maybe you got your eye on another player prop on maybe some of your favorite stars around the league. FanDuel makes every snap exciting. And right now, new customers get an incredible offer. Bet $5, win $5, and they'll give you $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's right, $150 in bonus bets. It's easy, it's fun, and with FanDuel's safe and secure platform, you can focus on what matters, and that's the thrill of the game. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel.
Hey, welcome back to the Locked On Texans podcast. Our guest today is Brandon K. Scott, B. Scott from the block from Sports Radio 610. B, the Houston Texans get a much needed bye week for the amount of football they have played this entire year. I feel like they played 2 seasons and it's still like, are we still in 2024? But they played a lot of football and they finally get their bye week. But coming out of the bye week, what needs to happen over those next 4 games for them to close out the regular season heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, before I even answer that, I do want to say that is it weird that I am even more angry and upset about them playing the 3 games in the 10 or 11 days or whatever it is than I am about this whole Azeez Al-Shaair thing? Because
No.
Here's why too. Because Sarge, you used a very important word earlier, hypocrisy. Okay. And I don't
safety.
know, and we're talking about player safety. And player safety is supposed to be a priority. And I do think that the league has made a shift in how they prioritize player safety. But the hypocrisy lies in how they're selling the games to Amazon and Netflix, and they're playing on Christmas on a Wednesday and like playing NFL games on weird days, on days where us growing up, as much as we love football, we don't watch the NFL on Wednesday.
Right.
You know, because they don't play it on that day. That's not a day for football typically.
It's for basketball.
So it's a basketball night, and they're gonna play football. So like that. So just to kick my soapbox real quick, and to Sarge's point about hypocrisy, there goes another example. You can take what Sarge said, or you can take my example here of this is a league that wants to grandstand and stand on this moral high horse about player safety and all of this other kind of thing. But they're gonna send these cats out there to go play three NFL football games, and not flag football, by the way, as Sarge suggested they play if they're gonna be soft about it, but real actual football over the course of 10 days. If there was anything that Nick Caserio that I would have liked to have seen him rail against the other day, that would have been it. Because I'm like, man, what is this? What is this about? And maybe I wouldn't care as much if the team that I'm focused on didn't have this great opportunity right in front of it. But this is a critical stretch, and we understand that the Texans have messed over some parts of their season to where now this stretch is even more important because they didn't win some games that they were supposed to, like against the Jets or like against the Titans just a couple of weeks ago, or actually win that game that they were supposed to win against the Lions. Like they have missed some opportunities. Now this is that much more important of a time, and they got to play 3 of these bad boys in 10 days against one of them against the Super Bowl champs, the other against one of the all-time bruising and physical franchises in all of sports, the Baltimore Ravens. Like, bro, what are we talking about here, man? That part of it is crazy. And I thought that when the schedule came out, I was like, man, what they doing? But as far as the team itself, I do think, like, I would have liked to have seen them win by more points against Jacksonville. And for it to be, I know, Sarge, you and D'Amico have had this real funny back and forth throughout the year about ugly wins and all of that. I thought sorry, D'Amico, I thought this one was another ugly one. Sorry,
very ugly. Very ugly.
Sorry to break it to you, dog, but this one I wouldn't take home to my mama. I'm just letting you know now. But the thing is, man, like I thought it was encouraging that they did finally do some things in the second half offensively, and I haven't felt like they've been that far off in this time. Now, the things that they've done that have kept them from being the team that they wanted to be are problematic. And if they continue to be, then they're not going to be nothing that they wanted to be. Yeah. So it's like you can't ignore them and be like, oh, well, they'll pass protect. Oh, they'll kill them penalties. Oh, these things will correct themselves. No, they're not going to correct themselves. They got to correct them.
That's exactly where I wanted that it lead you to, because, okay, it feels like, again, the straw that broke the camel's back. The defense has been carrying this offense all year. The amount of one-score games the Houston Texans have won and the amount of one-score games that the Houston Texans have lost, I think we can all the credit to that the defense did their job 10 times over. The offense couldn't bail us out. And so, it feels like this offense with a quarterback that had a phenomenal rookie year is due for an explosion. Hadn't had one against a banged up New England game. Is there any expectation for you that, hey, man, they could get it done offensively? They could go out there and make up for no Petrie, no Aziz, a banged up, or a secondary that has had their miscommunication issues all year. Do you feel like this offense can go win them a game?
So I think that the only thing that's keeping them back offensively, especially once, early on, the disjointed nature of Joe Mixon and Nico Collins' health, like it's like you had one or the other, but rarely did you have both. I think now that they've got both of those guys back, and Nico, we've seen they've gotten him acclimated now, been back for a couple of weeks. So when we're not talking about pitch count, snap count type of thing, I think Nico they're going to allow him to be Nico now. And we already know what Joe Mixon brings to the table. Those are their two best offensive players, possibly their two best players, period. But to me, certainly their two best offensive players. Now that they've got them both at full strength, also with the benefit of a bye week, I think that is an incredible opportunity for them to find something. And then the thing that's holding them back, aside from the sporadic nature of their health or the inconsistency of them playing together, is the offensive line. And two things that's wrong with it. There have been performance issues that we got to be real about.
Yep.
And then there have been mental errors, drive killing penalties that seem to be even more correctable.
Yeah.
You know, like it's only but so much you can do about getting your tail kicked other than to just go out there and fight again, you know, live to fight another day. But the mental errors, you're like, you know what? We don't have to have back-to-back penalties on our offensive line as we're trying to ice this game and give the ball back to the opponent. We don't have to do that. You know, we can be better in pass protection and not get our tails kicked up front the way we have, considering how much has been invested in us as a unit. All the conversation, guys, I'm gonna be honest, all the conversation about Bobby and CJ, I've understood it, and I've thought at least having the conversation has been fair, but I don't see how you get there without first starting with this offensive line not living up to its expectation.
100% agree.
And if they can find it, I don't pretend to have the answer myself, but if they can find it in this bye week, then we're talking about something.
So here's my thing, B. Scott. Don't get me wrong. Very, very, very good points. And I guess since I got on the all black, I guess I got to be Victor Newman here. Some of y'all are too young to remember about Young and the Restless.
I know, but I had to watch Young and the Restless with my grandmama too.
So here's my thing, right?
I'm a General Hospitals kind of guy.
So here's my thing, right? B. Scott, those are some excellent points. And when we talk about the offensive line, right, and we know that as a unit, they have been terrible in certain times for the majority. I mean, I think that they're starting to play a whole lot better. But you look at, yes, they have. But this is my thing, right? Because now it comes back to Bobby Slowick. And the reason why I say it comes back to Bobby Slowick is because football is a game of adjustments, B. Football is a game of adjustments. You know from week to week that your offensive line may or may not perform. Where are those plays to compensate for that? Where are those plays that are going to say, hey, let's change this around? John and I have discussed this. I've discussed this on my social media pages. Hey, we watched a Detroit Lions team defeat the Houston Texans after their quarterback threw 5 interceptions. 5 interceptions. And Ben Johnson said, we ain't worried about that. I'm going to make the necessary adjustments. I know how to make the necessary adjustments. We can do that. Where have you seen Bobby make the necessary adjustments? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's all Bobby's fault, because yes, we do know the offensive line has issues. We do know that CJ has not been the CJ Stroud of his rookie year. But by the same token, at the end of the day, you call the plays. You are the one that called the plays. On Tuesday, Nick Caserio says he loves you. He loves the way you call the plays. He loves the way you run the offense. He told me there will not be any changes as far as the play calling duty are concerned. So, okay, you got the stamp of approval for the next 4 games and going into the playoffs. We need to see more. If you know that you have an interior offensive line, then you got to find some way. CJ, look, we need to get on the same page, get the ball out, whatever the case may be. So I do agree. Great points. And yes, the penalties, yes. The offensive line, yes. But I just need Bobby, and I'm giving him a pass too, because this is only his second year calling plays. He's never called plays before. This is his second year. I'm giving him a pass on that, but I've got to see more. If we want these players to perform and take that next step up in the second year, I need the offense coordinator to do the same thing.
That was Big Sarge, and we got B. Scott on the show today. We definitely going to have you back. It's been too long.
It has.
We haven't had a Wakanda episode in a long time, but B. Scott,
blame me.
Let everybody know, our listeners and viewers know where they can find all of your amazing work, your podcast, and your work with the Houston Chronicle as well.
Yeah, man. And I appreciate y'all for sharing the real estate with me, man. It always feel like I'm at home when I'm with y'all. We talk offline as well, so it's really just natural. But yeah, man, the B Block podcast every week, or twice a week now. I'm trying to extend that to twice a week. And then, of course, H-Town Hoops podcast with Rockets coverage with Adam Spillane. And then weekly, twice a week on Sports Radio 610, can catch me there. And the work at the Houston Chronicle, I just want to point out, Jonathan Alexander and Sam Warren and the staff over there, they do their thing. But I'm behind the scenes making sure that you actually know that it's there. Because the new, as we know, the news business, the media business is evolving. And so you might be like, what's a newspaper? Or they still do that? And so part of my job is to make sure that the newspaper and what it's trying to do is modernized and not stuck in 1995 or even 2005 or 2015. So make sure, I say all that to say to promote what JA is doing. I know y'all support him as well. What Jonathan Alexander is doing at the Chronicle, obviously, as well here on the Locked On Texans podcast whenever I can.
He don't stop working. We got to dive into the YouTube comments before we close out today's show. Thank you, B. Scott.
Thanks, B. Scott.
Open invitation on H-Town Who's podcast, by the way, Sarge. I'll catch y'all later.
All right.
With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you never have to worry about another gotcha moment ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. Say bye-bye to overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with your existing contacts. Ditch the overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15. Can't beat that. Can you beat that? I don't think you can. I don't think you can. So listen here to all of the new customers for Mint Mobile, your new 3-month wireless plan for $15 a month. To enjoy that, go to mintmobile.com/lockedon. That's mintmobile.com/lockedon NFL. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/lockedon NFL. $45 is due up front. Required. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower above 40 gigabytes on a limited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Welcome back in, Locked On Texans listeners and viewers. Thank you for making the Locked On Texans your first listen today. Now for your second listen, go find the new Locked On NFL with 2 shows every day. First, the madman Tyler Rowland kicks off your morning with a double shot of espresso, NFL espresso, and then stop by the barbershop with Tony Wiggins for some real NFL talk. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. It's time to talk to the Texans fans out there. And they say they want us to be more like the fans. They're mad that you're a Cowboy fan. I'm a Patriot fan.
Yeah.
The fact is, guys, we do want to see this team do well. And I think that should be good enough. But Sarge, the first comment from Angela Guano, 4707. Excuse me if I mispronounced your name. Mm-hmm. They want to protect Mahomes from him, talking about Aziz. Yeah. They know he's going to lay his butt out on the sideline. And that got about 10 likes. So, and then Frank Martinez, 6880. I agree. They're trying to protect their little golden boy and Lamar and Miami's little quarterback.
I'm gonna say this real quick, John. There's with the talent that the Houston Texans have, and with the potential that they have to beat everybody remaining on their schedule. I mean, I get it. They watched how the Texans played 1 half against the Lions. They had them scared. So, and now you can't have Mahomes losing. And look, hold on. Let me straighten my conspiracy theory hat. This is my tinfoil hat. I mean, they play Mahomes on a Saturday. That's like a prime time game. You can't let Mahomes lose prime time. And then you play Christmas Day against the Baltimore Ravens, another team that's, top 5 in the AFC. You can't have them. You can't have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry even have a threat of losing on Christmas Day and you got Beyonce performing. So you got to give them the entertainment value.
Beyonce's at home. They should want the Texans to win that game.
You could say that maybe next year they'll give Texans a little bit more. I mean, think about it. We talked about with the scheduling, with the way that everything's going on. This just not their year.
It does feel like the NFL is still trying to little bro the Texans a little bit. Now, the Texans could have did themselves a favor if they would have won some of those primetime games that they had early in the year. If they would have won some of those games where they had some of the better teams in the NFL, Detroit, Green Bay, on the ropes. And, for Green Bay, y'all had them down to the last second.
Yep.
So they could have did themselves a favor, and I do believe, like, what happened at the beginning of the year may come back to bite the Houston Texans. Rock and Roll Dad, he said it's pro football, not tennis or golf. If you continue to take the physical out of it, then nobody's going to the games or watch on TV. Yes, you want to protect your investment of players. Make sure that everyone put a pro football helmet on, gets the same punishment from here on. And I think I have a lot of respect for you, Rock and Roll Dad, because I feel the same way. We've seen, so as you mentioned, that we've seen running backs and receivers take those kind of hits and didn't get as much outcry as Aziz did on Trevor Lawrence. So I agree with you, Rock and Roll Dad.
Yeah, me too. I think that it's like I said, it's entertainment. We just got through talking about. Listen, the big story going into the Christmas Day game is going to be what? Beyonce, Netflix. We're watching football on Netflix, not on CBS, not on ABC. Netflix, where you have to have a subscription. You're watching football on subscription-based platforms.
Yeah,
there's an agenda, John. There's an agenda.
You know what? You're talking about the game and how it's moving forward. You may like this comment. Connor 6 Jamal. Refs can sway games. How about artificial intelligence? Rules will be enforced firm, fair, and consistent. So he's looking at using AI as a replacement for refs.
Nah, look.
Because I kind of feel like, that's you're taking away a good workforce.
John, I'm not trying to iRobot us out,
You don't like that?
The NFL is concerned. No, I still like the human element. But here's the thing. If the NFL, and I say this about the NBA too, if the NFL is truly about transparency, they would make the refs come to the podium, or they would make them hold a press conference after the game so we can question them about the calls. I don't know why they are the ones that are protected when they are just as much a part as the coaches and the players. The coaches have to answer for what went on in the game. The players have to answer for it, but the refs don't. And so that's when you take that human element out of it. And then, I mean, AI is an algorithm. You already think that the we'll talk about that later.
Listen, how would you have reacted if the referee came to the podium after the Jalen Petrie unnecessary roughness call a couple of weeks ago when it was clearly a clean hit? I would have loved to hear Big Sarge in post press after that one.
Yeah, of course. You want to hear my question real quick?
How would you respond to that, to the referee?
So on the Jalen Petrie hit, can you just explain to us what you've seen? Because when we watched it in real time and in slow motion, the call did not fit what we seen. And I understand that there's a human element, but what did you see on the play?
So professional. And Sarge would have probably needed like the Key and Peele skits with Obama the translator. That would have been a perfect time. He just gave y'all Brian Bearfield.
Yeah,
right. Now we wouldn't have Big Sarge. Hey, man, what the heck?
Yeah, right.
Thank you for watching today's episode of the Locked On Texans podcast. Please subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube, and follow me on Twitter at John_Hickman12.
And make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Star Sports with the Z at the end. Thank you, Brandon K. Scott, for coming on the Locked On Texans podcast.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.